All right, welcome back to another great episode of Facts and Stats. It is now episode 75. You have here your host, Everett Jr. Alongside of me, I have a special guest. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, and then we're going to go ahead and get started.
What's up? It's Donnell Suggs, sports and entertainment reporter at the Atlanta Business Chronicle.
Okay, appreciate you, Donnell, for coming on, man. So how did you get into being a sports reporter at the Atlanta Business Chronicle?
Well, it's a long story. I don't know if you got enough time to go back from when I started, in college, writing for the school newspaper and covering sports and all the small papers and medium-sized papers I went through since I got here in Georgia in 2006. So it was a long road, but I've been
Okay.
covering sports here in Georgia for 15 years.
Okay, so you say you've been covering here in Georgia for 15 years, so I'm pretty much going to keep it in Georgia very quickly. The Atlanta Hawks, that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm pretty sure you're probably covering them, speaking on them, and whatnot. Now, that's a team that I expected to make a leap, that I pretty much, a lot of people expected to make a leap. They fired their coach midway through the season last year, and they had an amazing run to finish out the season. They made the Eastern Conference Finals. They took down Philly. They played Milwaukee, and I feel like they were a better team than Milwaukee, if you ask me. But I want your opinions on how you think the Hawks season is going right now, and what do you think that they can do to turn around and get back into that, that Eastern Conference contenders.
Well, we got to turn it around. They have no choice but to turn it around. They're barely at 500. If I'm not correct, I believe at 500 or game above. I would
Above,
have
yeah,
double checked that.
right.
There's no choice but to turn it around. I mean, they haven't played well. The expectations have been super high following last year's Eastern Conference Finals run, a first time in the franchise history. So, you're kind of coming out with the target on your back. And a lot of teams in the East in particular really aren't scared.
Yeah.
They know the Hawks are good, but they're not worried about them. So they kind of came out punching, and some things didn't go their way. So Hawks have had a tough schedule. If you compare it with the rest of the league, the Hawks had a really tough early season schedule. That 7-game road swing out west was really tough to be this early in the season. So, I mean, it's all up here from here. They got Orlando tomorrow, and then Christmas in New York. Those are two very winnable games. With or
Okay.
without trade, those are winnable games. So they'll turn it around.
So my question to you, and a lot of thoughts around that team, where you have Kevin, you have Reddish, Hunter, who obviously been hurt as well,
Mhm.
Bogdanovich, Gallinari, all those pretty much fours. Now, what would you like? How do you like? What would you do if you had the chance to run that team and try to better orchestrate that roster? Do you think you guys will make a move, or you like how things are going right now with that roster you have? They have.
Well, you can't say you 100% like the way things are going if the team's a game above
Right,
500.
right, right, right.
So being realistic, there's a whole bunch of players out there in the league that I think would be great to kind of substitute for other players. I'm not gonna throw no Hawks players under the bus and try to trade them, virtually trade them. But something's got to give though, because
Yes.
it's not the coaching. Because Nate McMillan and his staff are a really strong staff, and Trey's playing as well as he's ever played.
Right, he is on a
He
he's on
is
a real good streak.
statistically
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
John Collins is having a very strong year. So I don't want to get into this guy's no good, this guy's no good. We got to move this guy. They just have to kind of finish. There's been a
Mm,
lot of games where the Hawks go into the third quarter 4 or 5 points up, 6, 7, 8 points up, and end up losing the game by as much. And that's just not how really good NBA teams close.
for sure,
So
for sure.
that's something that can easily change, man. You win 4 or 5 in a row, 6 in a row, and it's like you're right back in the top, in the middle, 4 or 5 teams in the East. That's all it takes. No one is running away with the East like that.
Hey, that was pretty much my next question to you. No one is running away with the East. I definitely agree with that. But at the current state in the landscape, not even just the current state, how the season may finish out, who do you think would be that two teams in the Eastern Conference Finals if you just had to take a guess right now? I know it's only the quarter mark in the season, but if you had to take a guess right now, you got Milwaukee rolling now. Miami, who's dealing with some injuries, but they're still holding it down. Brooklyn, number one seed. Kyrie coming back part time. Who do you think is going to be there when it comes down to
What I want and what I think is going to happen are two different things. What I want is for the Hawks to turn it around, play the Eastern Conference Finals against whoever, probably Brooklyn.
it? Okay.
What I think is going to happen is we'll probably have a rematch between Brooklyn and Milwaukee, the two best teams in the East, and that'd be good for basketball. But that means
I,
that my season ends early.
I gotta disagree. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased here. I am a big Miami Heat fan since '04, but I think that we have all the tools and the roster to make up to take down a team like Brooklyn or Milwaukee. I think PJ Tucker is playing tremendous defense. We're utilizing him more than all his previous teams have. Rockets, Phoenix, Milwaukee. He's playing in the pick and roll. He's hitting floaters. He's making passes, and of course he's knocking down shots from the corner. So with Oladipo coming back as well, and all the team that we have here, Bam coming back soon. You don't think that we have the possibility of knocking down one of those teams?
Miami's good. Miami's good. There's a ton of talent there. So I can see Miami and Milwaukee duking it out early. How it's going to lay out is Brooklyn and Milwaukee will not play in the first round.
Right, not at all.
So Miami's going to have to deal with one of those teams in order to get to the next round.
Right.
And that's the funny part about that. Then, unless Miami finishes 3, they're probably going to have to play one of those teams.
Okay.
And in the first round, I just can't see Milwaukee the way they look right now and Brooklyn the way they look being eliminated in the first round, no matter who they play. So hopefully Miami finishes at the top so they don't have to deal with them.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I have another question to you. And I've been on this team for probably about a month now, honestly. But now they exceeded expectations way more than what people thought coming into the season. I thought at first they were just going to be a team that makes the play-in, but now they're looking like a team that can seriously be a playoff team, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have probably arguably top 3 Rookie of the Year finalists, Evan Mobley balling, Jared Allen, who should be a first-time All-Star this year, and then Darius Garland, who looking like he's one of the young superstar point guards coming up in the league. What's your thoughts on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and how do you think that their season is going to finish out?
I almost had the opportunity to see them for the first time this season, but that game got canceled due to COVID restrictions and what have you. I just, I love that there's a lot of young guys. A whole lot of losing got you a whole lot of really good picks.
Yeah.
And it's working out, a la Golden State, a la the Hawks, teams that kind of got their butts kicked a little bit and kept on adding pieces. So I don't see why Cleveland can't be next, especially the way Ricky Rubio is playing. He's doing that veteran thing, but he's not trying to be a superstar, and he's just leading the way a little bit. And then, like you said, all those young players, they got a nice little thing going down there in Cleveland. I can see them sneaking into the playoffs and giving somebody a little trouble.
Okay, trouble. Definitely, I'd rather see Cleveland. The Eastern Conference usually was like the Pistons or the Magic as the 8th seed the past couple of years, minus last year being the Wizards. And pretty much with easy wins for whoever was the first seed in the conference. I think the Hawks, the Cleveland, if they finish out that 8th seed, it'd be a little tough. Now, I want to stick with the Cavaliers, and I have another question to you. Another young team that's out west balling. They just got their star point guard back, the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, if you had to just look at the rosters between the two, if you had to just choose which team you'd rather be the general manager of or the head coach of, if you had to choose Cavaliers or the Grizzlies, who would you choose? Cavs sitting at 19-12. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Memphis just lost last night again, so they're now 19-13, but they're still about 7-3 in their last 10. Now, if you had to choose between the two teams, who would you prefer to rock out with?
Morant is one of those once-in-a-generation players. So if you just give me rosters the way they're set right now, I want to take a 23-year-old superstar like Ja Morant all day long. With all due respect to everybody on Cleveland's roster, that kid is special, like next level type, multiple-time All-Star type special. And I can't say that immediately about everybody on Cleveland's roster. They have a lot of young players that will be in the mix, but Ja Morant's a star now. So given that choice, I take Morant. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to hear you say this on air real quick. Obviously, he was second. He was the second draft pick. Now, and nothing against Zion, obviously, but if you had to choose right now today, who would you still take Zion number 1 over Ja?
What team am I drafting for? It depends. What team? I have a team, and I got the number 1 pick, and those are the 2 top picks. Do I have New Orleans? Do I have Memphis? Do I have Cleveland?
So I would say you have New Orleans, and New Orleans never really had a true point guard either way as well, though. They did have Lonzo, but he was never in their future plans, honestly. So just say you have New Orleans, same situation, point guard and forward needed. What would you do?
A healthy Zion Williamson is very dangerous. I'm still going to go with Zion, though. He's got to be healthy, though. I know what Ja Morant can do when he's healthy, but I know what Zion can do when he's healthy. Check his numbers from last year, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy stats.
Especially finishing around the rim.
Exactly.
Like 60%.
And everyone knew he was coming. It still didn't matter.
Right. Okay. That's pretty cool. So who do you ultimately think will win the Rookie of the Year?
I think Mobley's got that. I'm not saying in the bag or nothing like that, but man, he's a ton of tools. He's going to be playing a whole lot. And his season looks like it's going to matter a little bit more than some of the other rookies. So Mobley looks like he might be that.
I think Scotty will make a good case for that.
Scotty Barnes is going to have a great rookie year. He's going to be a key figure for Toronto for the next 10 years.
Yeah, for sure.
But Mobley's going to probably play in a playoff game, and that matters. That kid he's playing a lot. He's giving me Tim Duncan vibes a little bit as far as he joined your team and your team got better immediately.
Well
Big man that
said.
joined your team, and then it's like boom from this point forward, this is going to be a really good team because of this guy. That's the kind of vibes I get from him.
Well said. Well said. So you think he should have been the number one draft pick?
I mean, it was a toss up because I can't see why he wouldn't have been. It was kind of like, who do you need? Who do you prefer? Yeah, but I mean, I would have took the kid one. I would have took the kid one.
Mobley?
He had a lot of upside.
You're referring to Mobley?
Yeah, Mobley. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Scotty Barnes wasn't nobody's number one overall pick. He's ended up being, his workouts was so crazy. He kind of jumped up the ladder. I mean, Scotty was coming in as one and done, but he wasn't gonna. I mean, he's exceeded his expectations.
He definitely did.
These are Mobley's expectations.
Right. Scotty definitely did. I mean, I think a lot of people were shocked draft night when the Raptors chose ultimately to pick Scotty over Jalen. So Jalen Suggs, that is. So I definitely agree with you on that.
No relation, by the way. I'm not related to that kid at all, but I like him. We've gone back and forth on Twitter before about the Suggs thing. He's a dope kid. He's a really good player.
Yeah,
he's fine when he gets healthy.
Yeah, I hope he does get healthy soon. He has been out for about a month now.
Drafted to the wrong team.
I definitely agree with that as well. Orlando, I'm not really a big fan of their whole situation that they got going on there with the guard situation. You got Jonathan Isaac, who's been out pretty much like 2 years now. Markelle, who's on the way back, and next year coming. Sure. But then when he's back, and then you have Cole, who's averaging like 20 this season, and you have Jalen.
Yeah, Cole's the guy.
Yes. Okay, so Cole's the
guy.
Okay.
So why'd you draft another 6'4" guard?
See,
when Cole Anthony's the future.
I don't understand that either, but I really, really, really like Franz. He's really a hooper. I like Franz.
Oh, he's a baller.
Yeah. He's all good. Around. He does it all. He can facilitate.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, a lot. He can.
I didn't get the Suggs pick. I just didn't understand why would you need that if Cole Anthony already has displayed to you that he's clutch, is going to go hard, play hard. Mm-hmm. Why draft another guard so early, so young, a young guard?
So with that being said, do you disagree with the Kings pick to pick Davion?
And I watched him. I covered him in high school. Mm-hmm. I knew what kind of dog he had in him. Mm-hmm. I was happy for the Kings because that point guard position was weird. Halliburton's not a true one.
Right.
He's just an unselfish person. He's an unselfish player. Mm-hmm. So I would have liked Halliburton at a 2 and Davion at the point one day down the line. I just know that, damn, that was a really high pick for that, though. That was a high pick for a guy who really didn't score a lot.
He didn't. I think that national championship run definitely had a lot.
It helped him out.
Yeah,
a lot.
Sort of kind of similar to Jared Culver when he had his little NCAA March Madness run. And,
that's definitely, except for Davion probably is a better prospect.
Yeah,
Culver
for sure.
Literally made millions off the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Made millions off the NCAA tournament.
Alone. I mean, he was getting Paul George comparisons and more. But I mean.
Yeah. But Paul George is really good at Fresno State. Like, he was already really good those 2 years. Mm-hmm. Culver was supposed to be good, kind of slow freshman year. Boom, had this bomb tournament. Not even a great sophomore year. Right. A bomb tournament. And everybody was like, okay, he's going to be the next thing.
Yeah. Two-way guy.
He's a good player. He's a good player. Just maybe not a lottery pick.
All right, so I want to talk. I'll have a couple more convos, a couple more questions actually with you. I want to talk out west a little bit. LeBron, AD, they obviously made a big splash move. Anytime you add a all-star, superstar, some would say star point guard to your roster, you would assume you'd get better. The Lakers are now sitting at 16 and 15. They lose Anthony Davis for a month. Now, what's your whole thoughts on the Lakers' outlook? Do you think they still ultimately would turn around and make the finals? And just give me what you would do if you had a chance to orchestrate that team.
See, basketball is different than everything else. Mm-hmm. You can't lose your best pitcher in baseball and think that you're probably going to make a run. In football, you can't lose a quarterback or your starting running back and really think you're going to make a run. It kind of hurts everything. With basketball, it's like LeBron James is a winner. He's going to win more games than he loses. Westbrook is a winner. I know we don't like him, and they come up with all kinds of excuses for him and everything. But the fact is, the kid is look what he did the second half of the season last year for Washington. Right. He dragged that team into the playoffs.
He did.
And now he doesn't have to drag this team. The Lakers will be a playoff team. Let's not go crazy, y'all. Mm-hmm. Lakers are a playoff team. And in a series, now we're going to squeeze the season into a box. In a series against, I'm just throwing names out there. I don't even want to, whatever.
Just say Phoenix, Utah.
Phoenix. You ain't beating Phoenix. Utah. They ain't beating Phoenix. The Phoenix is too good of a basketball team. In a series against Utah, you can't tell me 100%.
But Utah is similar. Go ahead. Utah is similar to Phoenix now.
They wouldn't beat Phoenix. Last year they didn't do it. This year they ain't going to do it. This ain't no bubble. This is real life. Mm-hmm. That Phoenix team is too good to lose in the first round of playoffs to anybody.
Okay.
You don't want to draw Phoenix.
Okay.
It's too good of a basketball team. Chris Paul won't let them flop like that in the first round. That's
Okay.
too good of a team. That team belongs back in the finals, to be honest.
Over
We'll
Golden
see.
State?
Well, as I say,
Okay, we'll get to that. Go ahead. Give me
we'll
your
get to
Lakers
that.
rundown. Okay.
Yeah, because ain't nobody beating Golden State anyway. You can worry about that. But I think the Lakers in the box can beat any team outside of Phoenix and Golden State. They probably can beat them in the first round. So the Lakers are probably better off hanging around 5 and 6 when it's all said and done, and skipping Golden State and Phoenix. I don't want to deal with them. Let me get a Utah and see what happens. Oh, in a series with LeBron James, I don't know if you want to see LeBron James in a half healthy AD and Westbrook that's kind of fired up and pissed off. So the Lakers will be fine. They'll be fine.
Here's my question to you. So obviously around playoff time, we know Kawhi Leonard is going to be there for LA. And okay, I see your reaction. What's your comments on that?
Because this guy. I mean, what he did in Toronto should go down in the books
for sure.
It should. But that's it now. We ain't seen nothing else since then. So I don't want to mention his name as some type of person that's going to change and dictate shit in the NBA. I mean, okay. He did something in Toronto that was amazing. I cannot front on that. Dude was 100% healthy, locked everybody down. He should have got NBA Defensive Player of the Year that year. Mm-hmm. That's how crazy he was doing on the perimeter. And then on top of that, he was awesome. But that was now, how many seasons ago are we talking about? 3?
Yeah, it was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We cool on that now. He's not going to play the NBA no more. Until he comes back on the court, I don't want to consider him.
But look, he was on that same type of postseason run prior to his injury against Utah, though. Mm-hmm. He took Dallas down by himself, single-handedly. It was a 7-game series, obviously, but he still...
Yeah, it was great. He was great in that series. Paul George wasn't that bad in that series, especially late.
Right.
But Paul George got better when he got off the court.
Right.
Kawhi left the court, Paul George did this and went crazy.
And he's displaying that. He displayed that for the rest of the postseason run, and he was doing it this season as well. So I definitely hear you on that. Yeah, he is. So that's my thing is, though, if like Kawhi, we know what he looks like in that playoff atmosphere, playoff basketball. Why are you like discrediting the Clippers of like not being, any type of contender?
Because you're not riding with us the whole way. I don't want to hear about Kawhi Leonard. He's not here right now while we're getting our butts kicked in these regular season games off and on, up and down. You're not around.
Okay.
So I know when he comes back, he'll be there. Mm-hmm. I don't know how good he'll be. How much ball has he played?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm more or less just like, I'm not saying what he can and can't do. I just don't want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about nobody that's not here grinding with us right now in the season. You're not here. Like I'm from Brooklyn. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I don't talk about Kyrie. He's not with us right now. So I don't get hype about what Kyrie can do when he come back. I haven't seen Kyrie play in a year. So what do I know? Almost
come on now. It's Kyrie Irving though. You know what Kyrie.
Yeah, it was Kyrie Irving in that playoff game until he got hurt and then left Brooklyn to fend for themselves. So what has Kyrie Irving accomplished in Brooklyn? Real talk. Not no regular
real talk. He hasn't accomplished nothing in Brooklyn.
Nothing.
But look though, him and KD obviously had a plan. They signed together when KD was still hurt. So I can't really discredit him for that first season. What were you expecting for him to do that first season?
Well, what did you expect Kawhi Leonard to do when he came to Toronto and the best player on the team was what's his name? Kyle Lowry. Nothing. I didn't expect anything. But Kawhi Leonard, being a superstar, said, "No worries, don't trade nobody. It's cool. I'll take it from here." And that team won a championship for the first time ever. I didn't say we had to win a championship. I would have liked to see Kyrie do something in Brooklyn without KD. He did nothing. When we get KD back, all of a sudden you're not riding with the playoffs. I know he got hurt. I'm just saying. He's always seemed to get hurt. He gets hurt going to the bathroom. So he's hurt again. And here we are again in the season without Kyrie. So I don't want to talk about somebody that's not around doing anything because he's done some cool things before. What you doing for me now?
Okay, so this makes me a little hesitant on the next question I got for you. Obviously, this guy's a hooper. He displayed phenomenal basketball in the bubble. I mean, I know it was the bubble, but Jamal Murray, that's another guy that's going to be there pretty much in the next couple of months, honestly, prior to the playoffs, pretty much sort of kind of right around the All-Star break. Jokic is playing phenomenal basketball right now to a case to where he can be the MVP again. Do I think he wins it? No. Stephen Curry and KD is pretty much like a two-way race.
No, he's not getting that.
Yeah. So now that's where things get a little tricky. Obviously, the Lakers took down the Nuggets last year in the playoffs. I mean, 2 years ago in the playoffs. Now, do you think that Denver can make any possible noise with Jamal Murray and Jokic playing the way that he's playing?
I saw Murray working out before the game the other day.
How's he looking?
He looks good on now, mind you. Now, no one was standing in front of him. He's just taking a whole bunch of warm up shots, but his shot was still wet.
So
You could
pure.
tell he's somebody that's dying to play, but it's not worth getting this guy into stupid regular season games that Denver doesn't need. In the game in Atlanta, they didn't need. They didn't need that, but he looked good. Now, I didn't see him running up and down the court. I just saw him on a half court taking shots, jump shots, but he looked good. You add somebody that good to a team, the team's just automatically better. So Denver getting better is a dangerous thing. I just don't think Denver's better than Golden State. I just didn't Murray or not.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's better than Golden State in the West and Phoenix.
So okay, I caught you now. In the beginning of this whole Lakers and Phoenix and Warriors segment, you told me that nobody's going to beat Phoenix, and then you said nobody's going to beat the Warriors. So now when it comes down to it, ultimately, who do you got making the finals?
Well, they played twice. They played twice and they split.
You right? They did.
It's gonna be a great Western Conference Finals. That'd be phenomenal. This is two best.
You gotta
teams
give.
in the West.
You gotta give us something though. Who do you think?
Well, you can't in a playoff series. I'm gonna put money on Steph Curry over anybody.
Okay. Steph
I am. I'm just gonna put money on the best player, who I think is the MVP of the league this year. Is Steph Curry. He's the best player in the NBA right now. With all due respect to Giannis and Jokic and obviously LeBron and KD, of course.
KD, yeah.
Steph Curry is playing on another level this year. So if I had to put bank on it, I'm going to go with the best player in the league and his teammates who obviously know how to play with him.
Well said. Okay. Speaking on the Warriors real quick before I ask you one last question, ultimately, who do you think is going to win the finals? They're adding Klay Thompson, a guy that hasn't played ball in 2 years, and you've been speaking on, not being there. I can't really speak on type of player. So what's your thoughts on Klay getting added to the Warriors and their deep talented roster, and how do you think the outlook is going to be?
They're bringing Wiseman back too. So now the Warriors going to be about 12 deep, legit 12, not 12 guys, 12 players. What I don't like, what I'm disappointed in is I think Gary Payton II's minutes go down. I don't like that because that kind of athlete was really good for that second and a half unit when Steph and them is chilling. He put a lot of energy to that. We haven't seen Klay play, so we're hoping that Klay is. I mean, you can't get this injured where you miss 2 seasons and be the same you. That's just not how sports works.
Right.
You're never the same you. You and I would be the same people if we lost that much time doing whatever we do that we like to do physically. So adding Klay, why can it hurt? The team's already really good, so it can't hurt. But Wiseman, I think, is the factor. They're going to bring in another athletic big man to that roster running the floor with Draymond.
Right.
Curry flares out. Draymond might hit one of these numbers and get Wiseman for a couple layups. That's a big defy. I know we all love Klay and he's funny and all that. That's cool. But this team don't need another shooter. What they need is that 7-foot young man running down the wings and blocking some shots. Their team's going to get real dangerous when Wiseman gets back.
Okay, I love it. My last final question to you in regards to basketball. You have the Warriors making the finals. You didn't give me an NBA Eastern Conference Finals team. You just said the Nets or the Bucks. Who's going to make it between them two, and then who's going to win the finals?
Who do I want, or who I think is going to make it? 2 different teams.
Who do you want? I mean, who do you think is going to make it? Not want. Who do you think is going to make it?
With Kyrie Irving playing 26 games when he gets back, because he can't play on the road.
Right.
Let me tell you, he can't play at home. Can't play at home. So if we play the Knicks in the first round, you can't play, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't help him. The Nets don't need him. I still think if Kyrie Irving comes back, that Nets team is better than any team in the East. And obviously that's who I want as a homer, but I want that as a basketball fan too.
Yeah, that's real.
I want to see Golden State play the best possible team.
Now, this where it gets. So we all know the talent that both teams have on their roster, and honestly, both teams are deep. You got Patty Mills, who just put up 30 the other day as well.
Yeah, Patty's nice.
LaMarcus Aldridge retired, came back, and now he's contributing. Blake Griffin's out the rotation. So now when that team meet up and the Warriors Nets, who you rocking with? Who you going with? I know you said Curry's the best player in the league, but you know Brooklyn have a lot of firepower to where they can withhold anybody.
No doubt. 7 game, best of 7 game series, whatever. I'm gonna stick with the home team because my heart says that, but my mind says getting Golden State in that cage, that finals cage. You gotta be LeBron crazy to beat that team.
Exactly.
You do. You have to be so. And this is a team that's gonna have Klay off the bench because he shouldn't start. He's going
to start though. Malika and this other young lady, other female, actually talked about that on ESPN today, where he's pretty much his goal is basically to start. He can play right now. They said he wants to start though. He wants to get back and playing 30 to 35 minutes a night.
I want Janet Jackson. So we all want stuff. We all want things. Okay. He shouldn't start. He shouldn't come in and start. He should not. That's a slap in the face to the
To
people who are
Poole.
on that team for you to walk back into this thing after 2 years
Mm-hmm.
and say, "I'm back. Let's go back to the old days." It ain't the old days. You nice.
Well
And this
said.
second unit is gonna be dope when they get Clay and Gary Payton in the backcourt. Just be cool, man. You've been getting paid, so it ain't like nobody disrespecting you on the money tip. We just gonna I think we should keep that team the way it looks right now. And he used to be the second unit. So Golden State will beat Golden State with Klay Thompson off the bench and Wiseman will beat the Brooklyn Nets in six games.
Now, so you're making it seem as if Clay coming off the bench is going to be a big factor into that series if it were to happen. Now, say Clay starts, which I think he will start. Do you think that's still going to be? How do you think that series is going to play out? The same way? Because I don't see nothing wrong with Poole coming off the bench. I mean, Poole's averaging 15 to 17 points per game right now. But
he's a dog on defense too. That kid Poole takes every possession real seriously on the defensive end too.
Right.
I know Clay used to. We know Clay used to. Can you still do that?
Right.
You lose that mobility with them knees. You lose that. He's a shooter by nature. He's always going to be that. Can you still guard James Harden? You have to chase him around because Harden's not gonna Curry's not gonna guard Harden. He'll foul out doing that. I'm not dealing with Harden up faking me to death and getting stupid fouls. So Clay will probably have to deal with Kyrie, which is already a handful.
Right.
But you don't want to deal with Harden. Harden has the ball all the time, and that's a lot of work for Curry to have to deal with. I'm already running around crazy on the offensive end. Then I got to chase Harden around through screens. I'm not dealing with that. So that's Clay's job.
Mm-hmm.
I want Poole I want a young athletic Poole to deal with Harden because Harden can't guard Jordan Poole. He can't.
Why not put Wiggins on Harden though? And I'm assuming Draymond on KD.
And that's a good idea because Wiggins will definitely can guard.
Yeah, Wiggins got more of that dog in him on the defensive side of the ball. I think
that's something I wouldn't have said a couple years ago. I watched him for years in Atlanta, and I used to be like, I don't think this dude likes basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so disinterested sometimes, but I like that he really looks like he's having a fun now.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Andrew Wiggins because he had all the tools.
Yeah.
He has all the tools. He looks really complete this year, like super complete.
Yeah, he definitely put it all together. I think that was a great team for that. I mean, great trade for that team. I don't think
great trade for him.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell wouldn't have made sense with Curry and Clay at all. It definitely was. Now, last question. So if Clay starts, do you still think Golden State wins that series?
Sure, because Steve Kerr knows how to do this. He's not one of those scary coaches. No disrespect to Steve Nash, but Steve Nash wouldn't pull a Clay. Steve Nash would just deal with it and be like, all right, well, okay. That Steve Kerr's not doing that. He's got the panache, he's got the cachet to say, chill. All right, you got the 12 minutes for this half. Mm-hmm. Now you got to sit down and let's put Jordan in the game so Jordan can shake things up. So I know Steve Kerr will know how to finagle it to where Clay's ego's not bruised. But when you look at the box score, you'll check the minutes, and it'll be 33 to 15. You're like, oh, damn, I thought Clay was in the game a long time. No, Jordan Poole played majority of the game. Clay kept on starting all the quarters. I just can't imagine. Listen, NBA is not playing ball around the corner with your friends.
Yeah.
Everyone is warmed up. You just got back with a couple of G League assignments and 2 years off. Mm-hmm. And you want to draw James Harden and Kyrie Irving and KD? Matter of fact, Wiggins has got to guard KD anyway.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
KD's too mobile. So that means you got to guard James Harden, and you just started playing ball to that point would be 3 months ago? Mm-hmm. I don't know, bro.
Okay. I definitely hear you. Definitely going to be fun. We got your pick. You have the Warriors winning the finals, Curry winning the MVP, and Lakers being the Lakers pretty much, making the playoffs but not beating Phoenix or the Warriors. Now, you've been here. I know I said that was my last question, but we've been touching on Wiseman, and I want to talk about his fellow draft classmates that went above him. I mean, actually, one went in front of him after. Yeah. So you say you've been here for the past 15 years or so. Anthony Edwards.
In Atlanta, yeah.
So you know Anthony Edwards most likely. You probably seen him in person.
I covered Anthony Edwards in high school.
Okay. So what's your thoughts on Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball? How would you, which one would you want to be your cornerstone or your franchise?
Just so we know, those are two different players. One is extremely unselfish, and another one is unselfish but aggressive. Because Anthony Edwards is not a chucker. In high school, he could have scored 40 a game. Mm-hmm. Especially in that last league he played in was a Catholic league, GISA, and he was just jumping all over kids. He really could have scored 40 a game. He just wasn't. He was just very, very team oriented. Mm-hmm. So Anthony Edwards is making a lot of us proud in Georgia. Maybe he's making all of us proud in Georgia because we were hoping he was going to find a spot for him in the NBA where they would do him right, and they're doing right by him. I hate that he's playing with D'Angelo Russell because D'Angelo Russell is just somebody that doesn't make anyone better. He just make people better.
I agree.
He just does it.
I agree.
Snitching on you, he'd be snitching on you to your girl, or he's picking up really bad shots. He's just not a player. He's very talented. We all know that. He just doesn't make you better. So I want Minnesota to move him away from Anthony. I want Anthony with some guys who know how to play, like Pat Bev, veterans like that. That would be feeding them. So if I had to take a player right now and I'm starting a team, I want Ball. He's literally what a 21st century point guard is. He's tall. He can shoot. He loves to pass. And when he gets a rebound, he can rebound his own ball and then shoot up the court.
Yeah, and go.
He's not the athlete Penny was, but that's the big guard that Penny was. When he came in the league, it was like, boom, and I'm out. Magic was fast, but not fast like Penny, and neither one of them are fast like Ball. So that's a really great combination. Just that Magic was a better leader, and Penny's a better athlete.
Right.
But I would take Ball over about 75-80% of the point guards in the league. So of course I would take him over Edwards, and I'm an Edwards guy.
Wow.
I covered him as a sophomore and a junior and a senior.
Okay.
I'm an Edwards guy, but no, Ball is the next level. Charlotte's way better, and it's not a coincidence they're way better when this kid came on as a point guard. They were not better 2 years ago, and now they are.
Earlier in the episode, and I appreciate you for coming on. Earlier in the episode, you told me Ja is next level, Ja is this, Ja is that. So if it comes down to it, who do you think? You taking LaMelo over Ja as well?
Yeah,
I just need to see. Okay, I just want to see the pedestal you have LaMelo on. Well,
I have Trae Young, Chris Paul.
You gotta say Luka.
Luka Doncic is not really a point guard to me. He's just the best player on the team. I wouldn't want him to be my one. But Luka, I would have drafted Luka over Trae, but that's another story. People hate that. I talk about that. So I ain't gonna say that. Anyway, Trae Young, fine. We'll put Luka at a one to just say that he's the one. Luka, Trae Young, Chris Paul. That's it. And I'm taking Ball to be my point guard. So look at the kind of guys I'm comparing them to.
Right. Okay. I love that. Well, Mr. Suggs, Donnell, I definitely appreciate you coming on Facts and Stats. Everyone that made it to the end of this episode, I'm supposed to say in the beginning, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend about everything that we got going on here, and give Mr. Suggs a follow and support everything that he got going on as well.
At Suggs Ryder on Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.